turning point in my life. I reached a turning point, Lord, 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 in my life. Yeah.
Welcome everybody to the Turning Point Podcast. This is Tyrone Stevens. I'm your host. This is my first podcast, and I'm excited and I'm a little nervous, but we're gonna pull this thing off. Okay. Yeah. And I'm 74 years old, so I've been around a while and I've been doing some things in life. I've been rich, and poor many times as you can count, probably on your hands and toes, you know what I mean? Over 20, 30 times, And so what I've done in my life, I gathered my experience together, and I think it would be, my experience consists of a lot of things, and I think it would be very beneficial for my audience, to learn the art of, what I want to talk about first is the art of getting money. Money is the thing everybody talk about right now. But see, let me explain this here about money. I wind up getting, I was a hustler, in the street, I played gas, sell no drugs. I used some, but I didn't sell it, But I've been clean and sober and, in drugs and criminal activity for, going on 15 years now, And I want to talk, everybody talks about money, but I want to talk a little bit about money. If you had told me that when I was like 18 or 19 years old in 1968 and 69, if you'd have told me that I would be getting $1 million stings, you mean taking $1 million here and there. If you'd have told me I would be getting that kind of money, I would have told you when I was 19 that you was crazy. That would have scared me to death because, remember now, in the 60s, $1 million was like $10 million, almost $12 million at that time. If you'd have told me I would be getting that kind of money, man, that would have scared me to death, man. All I wanted to do, is be a good player. I just wanted to be a good hustler. I didn't think about, we didn't think about it in terms at that point of like having millions of dollars. Like y'all talk millions of dollars now, like it ain't nothing. They be talking about billion. It ain't nothing to be a millionaire now. It's about being a billionaire. And then they talking about trillionaires and stuff like that. So, I mean, when I was 19 back here 50-something years ago, man, I mean, if you had $10,000, that was all the money in the world, man. $10,000, you buy a Cadillac. You buy a brand new Cadillac for $6,000 at that time in 69. So anyway, it's not about focusing on the money. You focus on what you're going to do to get the money. See, and once you get good at what you're going to do, whatever you're going to do, once you get good at that, then, the money going to come. It's going to come, it's going to come hand over fist. It'll be more than you can even count, what you can even think about. Once you start focusing in on what you're doing. That's if you want money. See, because everybody don't want money like that they willing, to put that kind of time in. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but don't nobody want to die. See, and it's a price in the sense of, heaven. There's a price you got to pay for whatever you want to do. There's a price you got to pay with it. If you want money, you want big money, you got to make some sacrifices. You got to make some sacrifices. So and let me tell you how I started. When at first, when I was a teenager, I was just like a little hood, just a guy getting in trouble and stuff. I didn't really know what I was doing, and and then when I started hanging out with some real players that really knew how to do something, they had a profession. They just wasn't out in the streets and just talking out the side of their neck. They had a profession. They knew how to do something, and so I wanted to be, this guy. I wanted to be a guy that was a smooth talker, and so we taught people how to money. I wanted to be like that. I liked it, that aspect, and I liked it, the pimp game too. So when I had a friend of mine that I knew that he was a couple years older than me, but he was hanging around the big time players in the city of Detroit. I was like I say, I was just a hood, just a guy snatching and grabbing stuff, throwing a rock in the jury when they grab the jury out, I was just doing that. That's hood stuff, I wasn't doing no real player stuff until I started messing with this guy that I've been knowing the guy since I was about 4 or 5 years old, And see, this is like, when you want to do something, you got to hang out with people that know how to do that. So I was hanging out with this guy. I didn't know nothing about being no professional hustler or nothing like that, But I knew he did. So I had to do something that make him feel like it was all right for me to be around him, that he wanted to talk around me and wanted to teach me, some secrets that, everybody didn't know, So I had a gambling joint at the time. Me and a friend of mine had a gambling joint, I was about 19 years old. We had a gambling joint. So I invited him over to hustle the crap game because he's pretty good at gambling. He knew how to win the money. He knew how to take the money. So that was a reason for him saying, I'll be around Tyrone because he got this gambling thing going. We can go out here and get some money, him and his partners. So they came out there and I let them come in the joint and they won the money. They were doing that every weekend. So now I got a chance to get around him and I got a chance to ask him about some of this other stuff I wanted. So he was just giving me bits and pieces like that, but I was consistent. See, whatever you do, you got to be consistent at it. You can't let nobody turn you off for no reason. You see somebody doing something and you want to be in their company, you want to hang with that set, you got to find a way to get in that set. You got to give them a reason to, that they can't refuse you, So I gave him, he had a reason to come around me because he was making some money, right? At the crap game I had. And so I pieced together, man, a couple of little slick games they had to get some money. And but he didn't give it to me. He didn't give me all of it. He just gave me some bits and pieces. So I put those bits and pieces together. And me and a friend of mine, we went out. And I never forget it. We played this game. And we took $13. Man, I was so excited at the moment after we had got away with that $13. Because if this guy would have had $1,300, we could have got that, because we fooled it, we could have got it. So I said, oh man, this thing worked. So once you convinced about something you want to do, you see that it works, you say, oh shit, you in now, So I started, I quit my job. I was working at Fleetwood's, where they were making cars. I said, hey, I told the foreman, I said, hey, you can have this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm going out, I'm going to be rich one day. I'm going out I said, I'm going to be a player. I wasn't thinking about being rich. I had no idea that I was going to get, what they call, come up ghetto famous. I had no idea that I was going to do nothing like that. So anyway, then that $13, the next time, I took $100, Then I started getting gooder and I started getting better, I started, and then I messed around and took $1,000. Oh man, that was like at night. I was at 19. I took that $1,000. I guess that was in 1970. I took $1,000, and from me and a guy who I was hustling with. Now he knew a little more than my old partner that I started off with the $13. I didn't step myself up now. See, it's like basketball. If you want to play basketball good, you got to get around competition. You got to get around other players that's playing basketball at a high level, higher than you. So when a person is up over you, that makes you come up. Come up. Come up. If you the best one there, you better get you another game. Because that's not good. So I was with another guy. He was up over me, and we took $1,000. Oh man, we had 500 apiece, man. Suit was costing $75. I could get 3 suits. You know what I'm saying? Shoes was costing $40. I can get 2-3 pair of shoes. I can get showered, man. And now I'm going around, and I'm hanging out. I'm hanging out with big time players. I'm hanging out with fast women and fast men. They driving big cars and and all this kind of stuff. Now, I'm doing what I dreamed of. So I just and then I made some money, and I went to New York. Now New York was like a place where all the hustlers came from all over the country. It's like you go, like if you want to be a basketball player, hey, we go down to the Rutgers. It was a place in Harlem called Rutgers, and the people who came there from all over New York, Rutgers, it was the best basketball players. They came there to play. I mean, Julius Erving, everybody, Tiny Archibald, my man Joe Hammond, all these people came there. Now you had to play to come to Rutgers. You playing at Rutgers, so you went to New York. On the hustling side, they had hustlers from all over the country there. The best in each, some of the best in each town. Not the best in each town, but some of the best in each town. And they would be there, It's like a melting pot of us, And so, and I had my girl with me, and she was hustling and stuff. She was doing the same thing that I was doing. I taught her how to do it. And so, I started, I got around, now I'm around the best. I didn't graduate from elementary school now. Now I'm in college, and I'm about to graduate out of college. So, then I graduate out of college and, and I'm around all the best pros, So I got around all these people, man, and, and I'm learning. I got personal initiative. I'm learning my art. You got to have personal initiative, man. You have to have a perseverance. You can't give up. It was some times that I wanted to give up. I said, man, I don't think I'm doing the right thing here, man. Because sometimes, you ain't gonna be getting no money. And you got to hold on. You know what I mean? You just got to hold on. How? The best you can. That's the best I can tell you. Hold on the best way you can. But by all means, hold on, brother. You know, hold on, sister. You know. So I held on, you know. And then I started getting better. I started getting better, you know. But like I said, sometimes it was rough, you know, and I wanted to give up, but I kept persevering. I kept that personal initiative. I said, you got to go on irregardless, you know. And then one day when you stay with something and you stay with it, you know, long enough and you keep, you know, you sharpen, you know, it's like iron sharpen iron, you know, and man sharpen man and woman sharpen man too, and man sharpen women, and you get together with your crew. Then one day you just keep on doing it, and one day you decide it dawned on you. I was walking down the street in New York, I'll never forget it. And one day it just popped in my mind. Yeah. Oh, okay. This how that go? You know, my art of what I was doing popped in my mind. See, the art of getting money is knowing something to do real good. Once you know something to do and you get good at it, you're going to get some money. You know, you ain't got to worry about that. Money going to come to you. Because first of all, depending on what you, it depends. I don't care what you do. You got to get good at what you do. You got to gain information. You got to seek. You got to search. You got to ask questions. And, you know, you got to talk to people. You got to get around people that's trying to do that. And, you know, then you start getting creative and you start learning how to read, like read situations and, you know, not just reading and writing. It's all kind of reading. You know, you got to read situations. You know what's going to happen. You know, some tell you, hey, you know, you go to the right, you better not go to the left, you better go to the right. That's called your intuition. You got to learn how to follow yourself too. Inside, it's a little voice be telling you, say, don't do that. And you do it anyway. You say, you know what? Something told me, don't do that. You got to learn how to listen to that, you know. And then I got to the point that I had got with I started learning about something other than the game. I started learning about some spiritual stuff. I had a friend of mine, it was in 75. I had a friend of mine that was in college, and he got out of the game. He went to school to be a doctor. He's my best friend. And so one day I was over in Detroit, and he was out for the summer. He's going to the University of Michigan. And he in college and stuff. He started getting into vegetarianism and this and that. And so he started getting into spiritual things, started getting into his diet and all that. I ain't know nothing about that. I ate everything, pork and all kind of stuff, you know. And we ride, I got a brand new Eldorado on 75. We ride, you know, me and my man, and he said, I'm a vegetarian. I said, vegetarian? I said, what is that? He said, well, you know, I don't eat no meat, man. I said, yeah, what'd that do? He said, well, it makes you think better, you know. And it helps you stay well, you know, and you get healthy that way. I said, oh, yeah? And I said, think better. So now I liked it that, think better, you know, because I was in a thinking game. So I liked it that. So I took to that. So I started learning about that. And then that led me to people like Dick Gregory, Irma Hutchinson, Alma Fulton over in Chicago. That's who taught Dick Gregory. And I started going to where these gurus were, you know, because I would get out of the game for a second when I get some money, but I go to seminars and different things to see, because, you know, I quit school in 9th grade. You know, I didn't quit because I was dumb. I just quit because I feel like, hey, I was just bad. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and so I started learning, you know, about different things about myself, and, you know, about health and about spirituality and stuff like that, you know. But I was still getting money, you know. And So I went to I would go to these different seminars and stuff like that. And like a lot of guys that was in the game, they wouldn't take out to go learn nothing about themselves. See, if you haven't been to college, if you haven't been to college and you don't have a degree in something, then you have to take personal responsibility to teach yourself. It's called self-knowledge. You got to teach yourself. It's called self-taught. That's the word I'm looking for. You got to learn how to teach yourself. It's your responsibility. See, it's two kinds of education. You can get a formalized education, or you can be self-taught, or you can be both, or you can be one or the other. So I'm self-taught myself, and so I went out and learned different things about that the street didn't have. Like spirituality. There wasn't no spirituality in the street, and it sure ain't none now, but you got to take responsibility to learn this here yourself, or else you'll be like an animal, like a wolf. I was a wolf until I started learning some things about myself. And then when you put the focus on, getting good at something, then the money start falling in. The money start falling in, man, and then I start saying, well, can I get some more? I got a couple $100,000. I said, can I get $500,000? I learned how to get $500,000. I said, can I get $1 million? I learned how to get $1 million. I said, can I get 5? I learned how to get 5. And basically those principles are the same. It doesn't make a difference. Only the difference is, only the difference between a businessman and a crook. See, a businessman will go all the way up to the gray area, and he won't pass the law. He won't pass that gray area. See, a criminal, a crook, he has no regards for the gray area. He'll go all the way. It doesn't make him any different. But there's those consequences with your actions. Whatever you do, there's consequences. See, the businessman going up to that gray area, chances are he's going to stay out of prison. Sometimes that gray area send him to prison, but chances are, for the most part, he's going to stay out of prison. But that crook, he has no regards for the law, so he's prone to go to prison a little faster than the businessman. So remember, that the principle is the same. But if you use those principles and you use them against the law, there's consequences. I'm not telling you what to do. That's your call. I'm telling you about these principles. Personal initiative, keeping your eye on the donut and not the hole. Because if you look at the hole, you're going to slip and fall in it. So, next episode, we're going to get into it a little bit deeper, but this is our first podcast, and look here, y'all hit that subscribe button and all them other buttons that you hit that, and OG going to be back again to talk next week, and we're going to get a little further. Peace out.
I reached a turning point.